The PGA Tour is on the verge of a massive transformation, and two of its biggest stars are standing shoulder to shoulder against it. Tommy Fleetwood has just thrown his weight behind Rory McIlroy in what could be a game-changing showdown with PGA Tour boss Brian Rolapp. The issue? A proposed overhaul that would force players to commit to more PGA Tour events than they currently play. And for McIlroy and Fleetwood, two of the most prominent European players on the planet, that's a non-starter. The Northern Irishman has already made it clear he intends to scale back his PGA Tour schedule. He played just 12 times on the PGA Tour in 2025, excluding the majors, while Fleetwood played 15. Both also have commitments to the DP World Tour, and they're not about to abandon their European roots. But here's where it gets really interesting. Fleetwood and McIlroy aren't just allies on this issue. They're Ryder Cup teammates who have built a relationship based on mutual respect, friendly rivalry, and a shared understanding of what it takes to compete at the highest level. Just last year, Fleetwood drew inspiration from McIlroy's Masters victory to finally break through for his first PGA Tour win at the Tour Championship. And when McIlroy questioned whether Fleetwood was too nice to win, the Englishman responded with his trademark charm. Hopefully Rory still thinks I'm a nice guy. Now they're united again, this time against a change that could reshape the entire PGA Tour. So what's really happening behind the scenes? Why are McIlroy and Fleetwood pushing back against Rolapp's vision? And what does this mean for the future of professional golf? Buckle up, because the PGA Tour is about to get messy. PGA Tour boss Brian Rolapp has a vision for the future, and it involves more commitment from the Tour's biggest stars. According to reports, the Tour is considering sweeping reforms that would require members to play in more PGA Tour events than they currently do. The expectation is that players would need to commit to a heavier workload, but for European players like McIlroy and Fleetwood, that's a major problem. McIlroy has already made his position clear. He played just 12 times on the PGA Tour in 2025, excluding the majors, and has previously stated his intention to scale back his schedule. He's been open about wanting to prioritize other events, including the DP World Tour, where he played 6 times last year. Fleetwood, meanwhile, played 15 PGA Tour events and also turned out 6 times on the European circuit. He's a player who values his global schedule. Last year, he played competitively in India for the first time before making a long-awaited return to the Australian Open. Rolapp's vision is ambitious, but it could face significant resistance from the very players he's trying to accommodate. And McIlroy and Fleetwood are at the forefront of that opposition. As one report put it, McIlroy and Fleetwood are among a host of European players who build their schedules across the two tours, and McIlroy in particular has previously made clear that he intends to scale back his schedule in the US. For McIlroy and Fleetwood, this isn't just about personal preference, it's about identity. Both players are proud Europeans who have built their careers on a global schedule. They play on both sides of the Atlantic, and they have commitments to the DP World Tour that they're not willing to abandon. McIlroy has been particularly vocal about his desire to play less, not more. In 2025, he skipped the FedEx St. Jude Championship, a decision that drew criticism from some quarters. But he made it clear that he was prioritizing other events and wasn't interested in grinding out a full PGA Tour schedule. The proposed changes would effectively force players like McIlroy and Fleetwood to choose between their European commitments and their PGA Tour obligations. And they're not happy about it. Fleetwood has already shown he's willing to stand up for his beliefs. When McIlroy questioned whether he was too nice to win, Fleetwood didn't back down. He delivered a measured but pointed response that made it clear he's his own man. Now, the two are united in their opposition to Rolapp's vision. And with McIlroy being the Tour's biggest needle mover, Rolapp may find it harder than he expects to push his plans through. The alliance between McIlroy and Fleetwood isn't just about politics. It's about friendship. The two have built a relationship based on mutual respect, friendly rivalry, and a shared understanding of what it takes to compete at the highest level. They've been Ryder Cup teammates, they've battled each other on the course, and they've supported each other through the highs and lows. Just last year, Fleetwood drew inspiration from McIlroy's Masters victory to finally break through for his first PGA Tour win at the Tour Championship. Speaking to Sky Sports, Fleetwood said, "I've drawn on many different things. I think Rory's story at the Masters, I'm nowhere near Rory's career, but I think him winning the Masters this year was a great show of resilience and mental strength, and I drew on that as well. McIlroy, for his part, has been equally supportive. Speaking before Fleetwood's Tour Championship win, he said, "I think it shows how great an attitude he has towards the game, how resilient he is. If he gets it done today, that would be amazing. I think we'd all love him to." But the friendship hasn't always been smooth sailing. When McIlroy suggested Fleetwood might be too nice to win, it sparked a debate about whether kindness is a weakness in professional golf. Fleetwood responded with his trademark grace, joking, "Hopefully Rory still thinks I'm a nice guy." But he also made it clear he's a fierce competitor. "I think I've always prided myself on being a good person, a nice guy, but I also love playing golf and competing." McIlroy's "too nice" comment has been one of the most talked about moments in golf in recent months. Speaking to the Scotsman, McIlroy explained his concern. "I would never say I question how much he wanted it. But, he's always been so nice, so nice. Then I'm like, is he too nice? Because you need to have that little bit of edge, prick in you, or whatever you want to call it. I know I have it, and I feel like that's what you need to win." Fleetwood's response was typically gracious. "I hope so. Hopefully the same amount of people that liked me before still like me now. I think, yeah, I don't know what that stigma is about too nice to win or nice guys. You know, nice guys can win, of course." And he proved it. Just weeks after McIlroy's comments, Fleetwood won the Tour Championship, his first PGA Tour title, and the FedEx Cup. The victory was a vindication for Fleetwood, who had been told for years that he lacked the killer instinct to win on the PGA Tour. But he showed that nice guys can win, and he did it by drawing on McIlroy's resilience and mental strength. McIlroy and Fleetwood are now united against a common opponent, PGA Tour boss Brian Rolapp's proposed reforms. The Tour is considering sweeping changes that would require members to play in more events, but McIlroy and Fleetwood are among a host of European players who are resisting the move. Rolapp's vision is ambitious, but the players have the power to push back. McIlroy is the Tour's biggest needle mover, and Fleetwood has become a fan favorite. If they refuse to comply, Rolapp's grand plans could be dead on arrival. McIlroy has already shown he's willing to prioritize his global schedule over PGA Tour obligations. In 2025, he skipped the FedEx St. Jude Championship, and he's made it clear he intends to scale back his U.S. appearances. Fleetwood has also demonstrated he's his own man. He followed in McIlroy's footsteps by taking time off after his Tour Championship victory, skipping events to recharge before returning to the BMW PGA Championship. The two are now allies in the fight for schedule flexibility. And with the Ryder Cup approaching and both players in top form, they're not about to back down.